The forced choice. Why Black women's entrepreneurship is both triumph and warning. Good morning, everyone. I'm truly honored to stand before you today to share insights from my transformative conversation with Jenny Louissaint, a brilliant researcher, thought leader, and fierce advocate whose work is fundamentally reshaping how we understand the entrepreneurial landscape for Black women in America. Jenny's groundbreaking research doesn't just illuminate statistics, it excavates truths that challenge our most comfortable narratives about success, opportunity, and the American dream itself. Through her fearless pursuit of truth, Jenny is forcing corporate America to confront its systemic failures while simultaneously empowering a generation of women to recognize their own extraordinary resilience. We've all heard the inspiring statistics. Black women are starting businesses at 6 times the national average. On the surface, this sounds like an unequivocal triumph, a testament to ambition, determination, and entrepreneurial spirit. The headlines practically write themselves. Black women leading the way in business creation, the new face of American entrepreneurship. But beneath these celebratory headlines lies a more complicated truth, one that Jenny Louissaint has courageously brought to light. This entrepreneurial surge isn't always driven by opportunity or ambition. For many Black women, entrepreneurship has become a necessity, a response to exclusion, inflexibility, and systemic barriers in traditional employment structures. It's not always a choice made freely, but often a choice made when all other doors have been closed. This insight shatters the comfortable narrative we've constructed around entrepreneurship in America. We love stories about visionaries who quit their stable jobs to pursue their dreams. We celebrate the risk takers who choose the entrepreneurial path. These stories reinforce our cherished belief in America as a land of opportunity where anyone with enough grit and determination can succeed. But what happens when entrepreneurship isn't really a choice at all? What does it mean when starting a business becomes the only viable path to economic survival and dignity? What does it reveal about our labor markets, our corporate structures, and our national commitment to genuine opportunity? The question burning at the heart of today's talk is this: what does true choice actually look like in our economy, and who has access to it? Let me take you into the world of Melissa Butler, founder of the Lip Bar. Butler didn't set out with entrepreneurial ambitions. She was building a career on Wall Street when she noticed something fundamentally broken in the beauty industry. Mainstream brands simply weren't creating products for women who looked like her. The limited shade ranges and narrow beauty standards excluded millions of women with deeper skin tones. Out of frustration and necessity, Butler began making lipsticks in her kitchen, not because she was seized by entrepreneurial fervor, but because she was responding to a genuine need that established companies refused to address. When she eventually took her vision to Shark Tank, seeking the investment and mentorship that might help her scale, she was rejected and even ridiculed. One investor called her lipsticks clown colors. The message was clear: there was no place for her vision within existing structures. Today, the Lip Bar is one of Target's top selling cosmetic brands with nationwide distribution. Butler's success is remarkable, but it emerged from necessity, from exclusion rather than inclusion. Her journey began not with opportunity, but with the absence of it. This pattern repeats itself across industries. Consider Morgan DeBon, who co founded Blavity Inc. as a digital media company focused on Black millennials. DeBon left corporate America partly due to the suffocating lack of representation and opportunity she experienced. She faced the typical challenges of limited access to venture capital that plague Black founders, navigating an industry dominated by non diverse voices and perspectives. Rather than simply creating another media outlet, DeBon built an engaged community first, then scaled into events like Afro Tech, original content production, and brand partnerships specifically designed for young professionals of color. Today, Afrotech stands as one of North America's largest multicultural tech conferences, supporting thousands annually. DeBon didn't leave corporate America purely to chase a dream. She left partly because corporate America left no room for her to breathe, to grow, to lead authentically. She saw digital platforms not just as business ventures, but as tools for collective advancement, as necessary infrastructure for a community systematically excluded from mainstream spaces. Or take Kim Lewis, founder of Curl Mix, an organic hair care line developed specifically for natural hair textures underrepresented in mainstream beauty aisles. Lewis faced initial skepticism about the market potential outside mainstream audiences and struggled to access startup capital and advisors familiar with her niche consumer market. She bootstrapped operations using crowdfunding campaigns, built trust through educational content within natural hair communities, and eventually secured an appearance on Shark Tank, though she ultimately declined the offers presented. Today, Curlmix has achieved multi-million dollar revenue growth and expanded into retail chains nationwide while maintaining its direct to consumer roots. These stories are inspiring. They showcase remarkable resilience, innovation, and determination. But they also reveal something deeply troubling about our economic structures. Each of these women encountered barriers that shouldn't exist in a truly open market. Each had to create her own path because existing paths were blocked or non existent. As Jenny Louissaint emphasized in our conversation, this is the double edged reality of Black women's entrepreneurship. The statistics showing Black women as America's fastest growing demographic of business owners reflect both extraordinary achievement and systemic failure. The achievement lies in the ingenuity, perseverance, and vision these entrepreneurs display. The failure lies in the conditions that make entrepreneurship a necessity rather than a choice. This brings us to a crucial distinction that Jenny highlighted: the difference between entrepreneurship by choice and entrepreneurship by necessity. When we fail to recognize this distinction, we risk misdiagnosing both problems and solutions. Entrepreneurship by choice emerges from opportunity, from seeing a gap in the market and having the resources, networks, and support to pursue it. Entrepreneurship by necessity emerges from exclusion, from finding traditional employment paths blocked by discrimination, inflexibility, or structural barriers. Both paths can lead to success. Both require tremendous skill and determination, but they reflect very different realities about who has access to choice in our economy. The data Jenny shared is striking. Black women lead all demographics in new business creation, growing at 6 times the national average. This is indeed a testament to resilience and innovation under pressure, but it also reflects a troubling reality. For many Black women, starting a business isn't just about ambition. It's a response to exclusion from traditional job markets and inflexible employment systems that fail to support their needs. This insight forces us to re examine our assumptions about entrepreneurship as the ultimate expression of economic freedom. True freedom isn't just about the ability to start a business, it's about having meaningful choices about whether entrepreneurship is the right path for you. When we celebrate Black women's entrepreneurship without acknowledging the conditions that make it necessary, we risk normalizing the very barriers we should be dismantling. We mistake adaptation to inequality for the elimination of inequality. So, what would it look like to create an economy where entrepreneurship is truly a choice for everyone? Jenny Louissaint's research points to several critical factors. First, access to capital remains a fundamental barrier. Black women founders receive just 0.34% of venture capital funding in recent years, an almost invisible slice of the pie. Without access to capital, entrepreneurship becomes a much riskier proposition, often requiring founders to bootstrap their businesses while maintaining other employment or depleting personal savings. Second, networks and mentorship play crucial roles in entrepreneurial success. Jenny emphasized how access to tailored conferences like Afrotech or Sistas and Sales and resource rich ecosystems significantly amplify success rates for Black professionals entering entrepreneurship. These spaces provide not just knowledge, but also connections, visibility, and validation. Third, we need to transform traditional workplaces to be truly inclusive and flexible. If corporate environments were genuinely equitable, offering real opportunities for advancement and accommodating the full spectrum of human needs, fewer people would feel forced into entrepreneurship as their only path to economic dignity. The stories Jenny shared reveal another crucial insight. When entrepreneurship emerges from necessity, it often takes on a different character. These founders aren't just building businesses, they're building communities, creating solutions for underserved markets, and transforming entire industries. Melissa Butler didn't just create another lipstick brand. She challenged the beauty industry's narrow standards and created products that celebrated diversity. Morgan DeBon didn't just launch another media company. She built platforms that amplify voices systematically excluded from mainstream conversations. Kim Lewis didn't just develop another hair care line. She created products specifically formulated for consumers whose needs had been ignored by major brands. This pattern reveals something profound about innovation itself. When people solve problems born from their lived experience, problems that existing systems have failed to address, they often create solutions with broader transformative potential. This is why diversity in entrepreneurship matters, not just as a matter of fairness, but as a driver of innovation. When we limit who can participate in building businesses and solving problems, we limit the range of problems that get solved and the creativity of the solutions. But here's the challenge. How do we celebrate and support this entrepreneurial spirit while simultaneously working to create conditions where entrepreneurship is truly a choice rather than a necessity? The answer lies in recognizing that individual success stories, however inspiring, cannot substitute for structural change. We need both. We need to support the Black women entrepreneurs who are building remarkable businesses against the odds. This means expanding access to capital, creating more inclusive networks, providing targeted mentorship, and celebrating their achievements. At the same time, we need to transform the conditions that make entrepreneurship a necessity rather than a choice. This means addressing discrimination in hiring and promotion, creating more flexible work arrangements that accommodate caregiving responsibilities, ensuring equal pay, and building corporate cultures where everyone can thrive. I want to leave you with this. When we look at the extraordinary rise in Black women's entrepreneurship, we are witnessing both triumph and warning. The triumph lies in the remarkable achievements of women who have built successful businesses despite systemic barriers. The warning lies in what these numbers tell us about our failure to create truly inclusive economic structures. The question isn't whether we should celebrate Black women entrepreneurs. We absolutely should. The question is whether we're willing to confront the conditions that make entrepreneurship a forced choice rather than a free one. I challenge each of you today. Look beyond the inspiring success stories to the structural realities they illuminate. Ask yourself not just how can we help more Black women become entrepreneurs, but how can we transform our economic systems so that entrepreneurship is always a choice, never a necessity? Because a truly equitable economy isn't one where everyone must become an entrepreneur to survive. It's one where everyone has genuine choice about their economic path, where entrepreneurship is one option among many, all equally accessible, all equally valued. The true measure of our progress won't be how many Black women start businesses out of necessity. It will be how many have the freedom to choose entrepreneurship or not, based on their talents, passions, and aspirations, rather than on the barriers they face. That's the economy we must build together, not just for Black women, but for all of us. Because when choice is universal, innovation flourishes, human potential is unleashed, and we all benefit from the full spectrum of talent, creativity, and vision that exists in our society. Thank you.